Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp. And I'm going to continue my series that I had mentioned I was going to do. So lucky if that music was too loud, I just realized it. But I'm going to continue with my series I said I was going to do through the Spirit, Lord willing. Just characteristics of the different tribes. And today I'm going to go in on the tribe of Ephraim, which are the so-called Puerto Ricans today. You Israelites who are calling yourself Puerto Ricans, the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, call you the tribe of Ephraim. So you're actually an Ephraimite. All right, and the word Ephraim, it means to be fruitful. Okay, so you know the Israelites were innumerable, whereas the sands of the sea, right? Were innumerable, and a big reason is because of the tribe of Ephraim, along with all the tribes, right? But Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. Okay, we're collectively, when the nation split into the two kingdoms, you had northern kingdom and southern kingdom. Northern kingdom collectively can be called Ephraim, because Ephraim is the head tribe of the Northern Kingdom, which are the so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans today. But there's, like I say, it's collectively. You have the different tribes, but collectively, the Northern Kingdom, it can be referred to as Ephraim. And then you had, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which those were when you read in the Bible and they talk about the Jews, they're talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. But specifically the tribe of Judah, right? The head tribe of all Israel. But then you have, like I'm saying here, is Ephraim, the head tribe of the northern kingdom. During the split after King Solomon, and you had Jeroboam, who was an Ephraimite, and he was the first king of the northern kingdom Israelites, right? Which today, like I said, are the so-called Hispanic, Latino, and Native American tribes, okay? But Ephraim would be the so-called Puerto Ricans. And we say so-called because those people are not really Puerto Ricans. If you're calling yourself a Puerto Rican, listen, you're really an Ephraimite, okay, in the Bible. That's why you never see that word Puerto Rican. That's a byword, okay? So anyway, the word Ephraim, it means I am fruitful. And in Hebrew, you say as Aparayam. That's how you say Ephraim. Okay? So let's get a story in Genesis 48. Well, I guess I can read this real quick. It says the tribe of Ephraim. According to the Hebrew Bible, the tribe of Ephraim was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. The tribe of Manasseh, together with Ephraim, formed the tribe of Joseph. It is one of the 10 lost tribes, right? So listen, the northern kingdom would be referred as the 10 lost tribes of Israel, right? Which Ephraim is the head of the northern kingdom. And Manasseh is part of the northern kingdom, but Manasseh and Ephraim were brothers. They were Joseph's sons, who Joseph, he was a prominent figure in ancient Egypt, even though he's an Israelite. Remember, he was highly ranked in Egypt. Because remember, the brothers sold Joseph to Egypt. So Joseph had the sons Ephraim and Manasseh. So when we talk about the 12 tribes of Israel, and we say, these are the descendants or the sons of Jacob, Yeah, they are the sons, but they're technically his grandsons. Okay, Ephraim and Manasseh. And they represent Joseph. That's why people say, well, why isn't Joseph on the chart, the 12 tribe chart? Well, it's because he's represented by his sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Okay. So let's go into this story right here. This is basically Jacob, our forefather. He's old and he's ready, he's ready to pass away. And so Joseph goes to visit his father Jacob, right? And that's where this is taking place right here. Genesis 48:10. It says, now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, and Israel is Jacob. It says, so that he could not see, and brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said, and remember, this is Jacob, because Israel was, let's see, let's back up so you can see it. Right here, we'll say Genesis 48:3. And Jacob said unto Joseph, the Most High Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. So now we'll scroll back down to 10, because now it's referring to him as Israel, but it's talking about the same person, Jacob. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see, and he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, the Most High hath showed me also thy seed. So he was like, man, I thought I was never going to see you again, my son. But the Lord even blessed me to see your seed, meaning his sons. And then that's a blessing in the scriptures, because it tells you here in Proverbs 17:6, it says, children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. So it's a crown to the older men, the elder men, to see your children's children, right? So we go back to Genesis 48 and let's see, 12. It says, and Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand, and toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. So he's presenting his sons basically to receive a blessing from their grandfather Jacob, or Israel. It says, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly. So he knew what he was doing, even though, because the blessing would usually typically go to the older son. But it says here, knew what basically guiding his hands wittingly, meaning he knew what he was doing, because he had his right hand on Ephraim's head. Okay, it says, for Manasseh was the firstborn, but he had his left hand on Manasseh's head, right? It says, so he crossed his hands, basically, his arms, when he was blessing the sons. And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the Most High which fed me all my life long unto this day. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, meaning bless these little sons, the grandsons, and let thy name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow in a multitude in the midst of the earth. Right? So he's praying for the blessing of the tribes of Ephraim and the tribes of Manasseh. And Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, which was the younger son, right? It displeased him, and he held upon his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. So Joseph was like, yo, you got the wrong son. You got to switch your hands. Your right hand should be on Manasseh. But what did Joseph say? Verse 18, and Joseph said unto his father, not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. Remember, it said wittingly. He knew what he was doing. And he said, and his father refused, meaning Jacob. And he said, I know it, my son. I know it. He shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And remember, Jacob had the vision already. He had a vision of Ephraim, the younger son, being greater than Manasseh. So, and it says, and he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Right? And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but the Most High shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. So Jacob, our forefather, he blessed Ephraim, and really Ephraim was, he's the head. That's the head tribe of the northern kingdom. That's why when the kingdom split, now let's get that account for it. I'll bring that out. Hold up. Let me see here. Let's get that account real quick, because after King Solomon, the kingdom was split, right? We'll go to 1 Kings to read that. 1 Kings 16 and 21, it says, then were the people of Israel divided into two parts. Or let me see if I can... So Jeroboam was the first king of the northern kingdom, right? Which, again, Jeroboam was an Ephraimite. He was a descendant of Ephraim. And remember, the reason why Joseph is not on the 12 tribe chart, even though he was a son of Jacob, because he's represented by Manasseh and by Ephraim. Those are his sons who were born to him in Egypt, right? They were born into him into captivity. So it says, then were the people of Israel divided in two parts. Half of the people followed Tibni, the son of Ginath, and made him king, and half followed Omri. Oh, wait, this ain't the one I was trying. What the heck? Salakia, give me a second. I need to find the right verse that I'm trying to find. Okay, 12. Yeah, this is it. So we'll go from 12, we'll start at 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answering the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now to see thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. All right, Salakia, damn dogs. It says, but for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So Rehoboam was a Judite. It was King Solomon's son. It says, then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And basically let me read it. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but only the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. So Jeroboam, and it says Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. That's because it's talking about what we read about or I touched on earlier, the 10 lost tribes of Israel, which are the northern kingdom. All right, there was the split. You had the northern and the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom was led by the Ephraimites, who Jeroboam was an Ephraimite, and then you had the southern kingdom, which was the Judites, the Jews, right? Which were led by Rehoboam, which he was a Judite, a descendant. He was King Solomon's son. But it was the split. So you had Rehoboam and Jeroboam, who were, they split up from King Solomon, and they've been split. These tribes, the northern and southern kingdom, has been split up until this day. And to this day, I'm talking about modern day, the age we're in right now. Now you have the 12 tribes coming back together. This is the beginning of the gathering of the Israelites. You see the northern and southern kingdom tribes. That's why when you look at the videos on the street, brothers on the street corners, you have brothers from the northern kingdom, and you have also brothers from the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom being the so-called Latino, Hispanic, Native American tribes. And then you have Rehoboam, which are the so-called, would be the darker skinned brothers, which were the Benjaminites, the Levites, and starting out with the Judites. Actually, I should have said that first, because that's the head tribe. But Ephraim is the head tribe of Northern Kingdom. All right. So let's jump down to 23. Let's see. Well, yeah, we'll read this. It says, "But the word of the Most High," verse 22, "came unto Shemaiah the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel." Because Israel is also, okay, this is probably confusing if you're new, but Israel, this is right here, is representing the northern kingdom, Ephraim, all right, which are the 10 lost tribes, as they call them. All right, it says, but Rehoboam represents Judah. All right, so you had Ephraim and Judah. Okay, so basically Ephraim equals Rehoboam. I'm sorry, Judah equals Rehoboam, and Jeroboam equals Ephraim. It's confusing if you even explaining it is a little bit confusing. But anyway, and also Israel is referred to as, when the kingdom's divided, it's Ephraim. It represents Israel, the northern kingdom, and then Judah. Even if you look at it on a map, you'll see Israel was over Judah on a map, or So Judah, the tribe of Judah, the land of Judah, was south of the land of Israel when the split happened. Okay, because you had the northern kingdom was literally in the north, and the southern kingdom was literally south. It says, "Return every man to his house, and from this thing from me, and they hearkened therefore unto and Yahweh, and returned to depart according to the word of Yahweh." And so one of the things when I read the characteristics of the Ephraimites, because it said that they were prideful and arrogant and rebellious, right? So this goes into the story I just read, and why it's saying that is because the kingdom split. That's how much pride and arrogancy and rebelliousness that Ephraim had, because basically they were like, "Yo, we're splitting up. This is a split." The kingdom literally divided in two, but it goes back because of the sins of King Solomon, right? When King Solomon was, setting up idols to other heathen, because King Solomon, he had many women and many concubines, and when his old age he was setting up idols towards for the women he was dealing with. Like, it'd be like if I was dealing with an Edomite girl and I start calling on God and Jesus, right? Or it'd be like Apostle Tahar. He started dealing with an Edomite woman. That's what I should use that example. He's higher up than I am. So, but it'd be like Apostle Tahar or Gabar, and they had some Edomite women, and then they were setting up, they were going to Christian church, you know what I'm saying? Pagan Christian church, and honoring, Yahweh and Jesus, right? So because of that wickedness, the Lord allowed the kingdom to be split. That's why he had the northern and southern kingdom. And Ephraim was pretty much the leader, because they're the head tribe of the northern kingdom, which Jeroboam was the king, the first king of the northern kingdom. And so the part of their characteristics goes into pride and arrogancy and rebelliousness when you look it up, okay? But the word Ephraim, it literally means fruitful and fertile, symbolizing the abundance and prosperity, okay? And let's see, what else could I bring out here? Oh yeah, Ephraim's sin, detailed in the book of Hosea, was a combination of spiritual adultery and idolatry, and along with treachery, deceit, and self-reliance. They were deeply entangled with pagan practices and false gods, failing to seek the Most High's guidance and forgetting him as their source of strength. This spiritual unfaithfulness led to societal breakdown, pride, and ultimately judgment and downfall. So that's another characteristic of Ephraim, which is the northern kingdom. And if you, like I said, because really Ephraim, you can name off all those 10 tribes, what they call the lost tribes of Israel, and basically, they're heavy, even though all the tribes are into idolatry. But it started out with Ephraim. Ephraim was the northern kingdom, and they're still into heavy idolatry. And so is Southern Kingdom nowadays. But, pretty much it started out with the Ephraimites, the tribes of, the 10 lost tribes, the Northern Kingdom. Because they set up 2 calves right away. That's the first thing they did. And they started, because Jeroboam was scared that the tribes would go back to the Southern Kingdom and join alliance with Rehoboam and the Judites, right? So Jeroboam, instead of letting our people keep the customs, he created 2 calves, just like they did in Mount Sinai. When Moses was receiving the law, they set it up to where they had idols created, 2 golden calves, because he didn't want them to go back down to the Southern Kingdom and worship on the high holy days. So they were worshiping idols, where they were dwelling in, and really it could have been Samaria. I can't remember exactly, but I know Northern Kingdom dwell in Samaria, like another title or a name. So just not to confuse you, but you have a lot of names for the Northern Kingdom. You have the Ephraimites collectively, right? You have the Northern Kingdom. You have Israel. And you also have Samaritans. Like when they talk about the Samaritans, is because Samaria was the place where Northern Kingdom dwelt. Let me see. Where did... Oh, yeah, see, that came up right away. And I knew it. I was going to say that. All right, so it says Jeroboam put golden calves in 2 strategic locations to prevent his people from worshiping in Jerusalem. See, and that's what I was just saying. It says one in Bethel, a southern city, and another in Tel Dan, or that's actually Dan, the northernmost city of the northern kingdom of Israel. This act established alternative places of worship at either end of his kingdom, intending to secure his new power base and discourage allegiance to the king of Judah. Right? So I'll call all Yahweh Bashem Moshe. I was on point with my explanation. So Bethel was one of the locations where he set up a golden calf, and then also in Dan. All right? And one was on the southern border of the northern kingdom, and one was on the northern extremity of his kingdom. And it was basically just the main reason. So he didn't want the Israelites of his kingdom to go worship in Jerusalem with the southern kingdom, right? And again, Jeroboam was an Ephraimite, and Ephraim is the head tribe of the northern kingdom. But like, we might as well go to Hosea. Let's see, Hosea. Because another thing that was rebellious is, Ephraim basically was. Here's another one right here. Ephraim, Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Okay. So the northern kingdom mixed themselves. That's why the northern kingdom, Israelites. All the tribes nowadays come in all colors and shades and different shades of brown. But some of the Israelites are light-skinned, like a cake not turned, like Ephraim. You have so-called Mexicans. I used to pick up a lot of people up for this job I was doing, and a lot of people were traveling on vacation, and I would pick up the tribe of Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans, and a lot of times they'd be right in front of me, and I didn't know that was who I was picking up, because they look like Caucasians, they look like Edomites, and then we'd figure it out that they were the people I was picking up, because I'm over here looking for Mexicans, But anyway, Ephraim is a cake not turned. So if you have a pancake, and you're cooking it and you don't turn it, you're going to have one burnt side and you're going to dark side, and you're going to have one side that's white. That's the metaphor for that. So that's the thing, and that's Ephraim, being rebellious. Setting up idols. Idolatry was a big thing with the northern kingdom, as it is with all the tribes nowadays. But so that's it. I'm going to go ahead and close out. I hope the lesson was edifying on the lesson on Ephraim, the tribe of Ephraim. But with that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, want to acknowledge Al Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect.